The baby monitor you picked specifically because it avoids Wi-Fi is almost certainly flooding your nursery with more radiation than the smart monitor you rejected. Independent dosimetry testing confirms that some Wi-Fi-free monitors emit up to 36 times more localized electromagnetic energy than their internet-connected counterparts. But radiation is only one of 5 intersecting failures in this product category right now. Some of these monitors catch fire while you and your baby sleep. Others claim to track vital signs without a single day of FDA clinical validation. At least one brand collected $400 from parents, went bankrupt, and then locked the features you already paid for behind a monthly fee. Here's the full picture. Every failure, the specific brands responsible, exactly what to buy instead, and the single free change that outperforms all of them. Baby monitors used to be simple. A microphone on one end, a speaker on the other. Sound travels across the hallway. You hear the cry. That era is gone. Today's monitors are internet-connected surveillance systems running computer vision, biometric sensors, cloud-based sleep analytics, and proprietary AI. They stream high-definition video around the clock while claiming to track your baby's oxygen levels and heart rate, and they store all of it on remote servers managed by companies you've never evaluated. Because every one of those capabilities was bolted on faster than regulators could keep pace, the entire product category is riddled with structural failures that most parents never discover until something goes wrong. Those failures break down into 5 distinct categories, and nearly every monitor on the market right now is vulnerable to at least one of them. The first is physical hardware safety. The display units parents leave plugged in overnight contain lithium-ion batteries under constant thermal stress. When those batteries degrade, they don't just die quietly. They overheat, spark, and ignite. The Consumer Product Safety Commission issued a major recall in February 2026 for exactly this scenario. 81,000 units pulled from shelves. Meanwhile, monitor power cords remain one of the leading strangulation hazards in the nursery, a risk the CPSC has warned about for over a decade that manufacturers still fail to adequately address. The second is regulatory fraud. The FDA issued a direct safety communication in September 2025, warning parents that the vast majority of consumer monitors claiming to measure vital signs have never been clinically validated, not by the federal government, not by independent labs, not by anyone. The sensors inside generate false positives that send healthy babies to emergency rooms, and false negatives that tell parents everything is fine when it isn't. The third is financial exploitation. The smart monitor business model has shifted from selling you a product to renting you access to one. Multiple brands now lock core features behind monthly paywalls, sometimes years after purchase. And when the company goes under, your premium hardware can become a basic video feed overnight with zero legal recourse. The fourth is radiation exposure. Parents gravitate toward Wi-Fi-free hardware, believing they're reducing electromagnetic fields near the crib. The physics dictate the opposite. Non-Wi-Fi monitors rely on continuous, high-powered radio links that generate dramatically more localized radiation than the efficient packet-based transmissions of Wi-Fi devices. Emerging research has begun linking prolonged RF-EMF exposure in the nursery to developmental concerns. Findings we'll put numbers to in a moment. The fifth is cybersecurity. Budget monitors routinely ship with no encryption, factory default passwords that never get changed, and firmware that never gets patched. Federal vulnerability databases are cataloging critical exploits in monitor hardware faster than manufacturers can respond, assuming they respond at all. These 5 failures don't exist in isolation. They compound. A single monitor can simultaneously expose your baby to elevated radiation, stream unencrypted video to the open internet, and drain your bank account through subscription fees, while providing zero validated medical insight. That's the category you're shopping in right now. Start with the Babysense Max View. This was one of the most popular monitors on Amazon and Walmart for 3 consecutive years. The 5.5-inch HD screen looked premium. The price point was competitive. Parents trusted it. On February 26, 2026, the CPSC pulled it from shelves under Recall 26307, approximately 81,800 units sold between January 2023 and December 2025. 11 documented incidents of the parent unit overheating, smoking, and actively sparking. Inside bedrooms where families were asleep. The lithium-ion battery in the display couldn't survive the thermal load of continuous overnight charging, and it failed in the most dangerous way a battery can fail. The recall covers the VBM55 and VBM55RX display units specifically. If you got a replacement directly from Hisense after the recall date, the fire hazard has been addressed. If you're still running an original unit, stop charging it tonight, and don't toss it in the trash. Compromised lithium-ion cells can reignite inside garbage trucks and recycling facilities. Your municipality's hazardous waste center is the only safe disposal route. Then there's the entire class of monitors marketed with vital sign tracking that lack FDA clearance. Brands selling pulse oximetry, heart rate, or oxygen saturation readings to anxious parents without ever submitting to clinical trials. The FDA's September 2025 safety communication was explicit. These devices have never been evaluated for accuracy, safety, or effectiveness by any regulatory body. Only a handful of monitors have actually earned clearance. Products like the Owlet DreamSock and SenseU carry a specific product code, QYU, that confirms clinical validation. If a monitor doesn't have that code, its biometric readings haven't been tested by anyone. And if the box says prevents SIDS, that's not a verified medical claim. No device on Earth carries that clearance. A false negative from one of these unvalidated sensors doesn't just fail to help your baby. It actively delays the moment you pick up the phone and call 911. The Miku Pro illustrates a different kind of failure. Parents paid $399 for a monitor that promised contact-free breathing detection using radar technology. No wearable sock, no chest band. That capability was the entire reason to buy it, and the company marketed it as a lifetime feature included with purchase. When Miku entered bankruptcy, a new corporate entity called Innovative Health Monitoring acquired the assets and immediately locked breathing tracking and video history behind a $9.99 monthly subscription. Decline the fee, and a $399 biometric radar system becomes functionally identical to a $30 webcam. Because the acquisition moved through bankruptcy proceedings, every original marketing promise dissolved with the old company. Thousands of parents had no refund path and no legal standing. Cybersecurity negligence runs just as deep. Mozilla's Privacy Not Included evaluation flagged the Freddy Baby Monitor for shipping with a hard-coded default password of 123, zero data encryption, and a peer-to-peer cloud connection that actively bypasses your home firewall. An attacker sitting in proximity to your network could access the live nursery feed without providing a single credential. The National Vulnerability Database has logged critical access control flaws in monitor firmware, including one that forces the camera to broadcast an open, unencrypted Wi-Fi access point that any nearby device can join and silently tap into. The Arlo Baby Monitor is what happens when a reputable brand simply walks away. Arlo declared end of life on the ABC 1000 on January 1, 2024. No more firmware updates. No more security patches. No more cloud storage. An unpatched IP camera sitting in your nursery is an open door on your home network that no one is guarding anymore, and thousands of these units are still running in homes right now. And the budget Wi-Fi-free monitors that parents choose specifically to minimize radiation? Independent testing using professional-grade tri-field meters measured the Babysense non-Wi-Fi unit at 12.64 milliwatts per square meter at 2 feet. Hello Baby and VTech units registered above 5. The Nanit Pro, a full Wi-Fi monitor, measured 0.434. That's a difference of nearly 30 to 1. Every monitor here technically falls within FCC limits, but within limits covers an enormous range. Some barely register on the meter, while others run close to the ceiling. When one device emits 30 times more radiation than another, and both carry the same compliance sticker, that sticker isn't telling you much about your baby's actual exposure. A 2025 prospective cohort study published in Curious, evaluating 105 neonates, found statistically significant associations between high household RFEMF exposure and lower neurodevelopmental scores, specifically in fine motor and problem-solving domains. Infant skulls are thinner and less mineralized than adult bone, allowing deeper RF penetration into developing cortical tissue. The marketing claim that ditching Wi-Fi protects your baby from radiation is not just inaccurate, it is inverted. A small number of manufacturers have subjected their hardware to the scrutiny the rest of the industry sidesteps. Owlet rebuilt its entire product line after receiving an FDA warning letter in 2021. Instead of abandoning biometric tracking, the company pursued years of clinical validation, achieved formal de novo clearance for the DreamSock under submission DEN 220091, and earned the QYU product code, the federal government's specific designation confirming an infant pulse rate and oxygen saturation monitor has been validated for over-the-counter accuracy. Then, in October 2025, the Owlet DreamSight camera became the first baby monitor on Earth to earn the SGS cybersecurity mark, independently certified against the EU Radio Equipment Directive's EN 18031 standards for end-to-end encryption and multi-factor authentication. One company holding both an FDA clearance and a third-party cybersecurity certification. That pairing does not exist anywhere else in this market. Masimo brought hospital-grade biometric infrastructure into the consumer space. The Stork system holds FDA 510(k) clearance for continuous spot checking of oxygen saturation, pulse rate, and skin temperature, the same engineering foundation that powers intensive care unit monitoring. For parents who need medically validated biometric tracking, the Owlet Dream Duo 3 is the only ecosystem that pairs FDA-cleared pulse oximetry with independently certified camera encryption. The DreamSock tracks SpO2 and pulse rate against documented clinical accuracy benchmarks. The DreamSight carries the SGS cybersecurity mark. Together, they retail between $369 and $458. Both components qualify for purchase with pre-tax HSA and FSA dollars because of their federal clearances, which offsets the sticker price for families with those accounts. For high-definition video monitoring without a wearable sensor, the Nanit Pro at $299 delivers the lowest measured RFEMF exposure of any Wi-Fi monitor tested, under 0.5 milliwatt per square meter, paired with AES 256 encryption on the data stream. One important caveat: Nanit operates a tiered subscription model called Nanit Insights. Basic sleep analytics cost approximately $100 per year. Advanced tiers run up to $300 annually. Over 5 years spanning 2 children, that adds between $500 and $1,500 to the true cost. Know that number before purchasing. The Harbor Baby Monitor at $499 eliminates the subscription question entirely. All data stores locally on the device. End-to-end encryption, no cloud dependency. For parents who watched what happened to Miku's customers and refused to build their nursery infrastructure on someone else's server, Harbor removes that vulnerability at the hardware level. One transparency note: Harbor has not undergone the same independent third-party certification process as Owlet's SGS-evaluated camera. The design philosophy is sound, but the claims are manufacturer-stated rather than independently verified. For budget-conscious families, the Infant Optics DXR8 Pro at roughly $170 operates completely offline. No internet connection means no hacking exposure, no subscription extraction, and no corporate server storing footage of your child. The trade-off is real. Because it relies on continuous FHSS radio transmission, it produces significantly higher localized EMF than Wi-Fi alternatives. Place it a minimum of 6 feet from the crib and let the inverse square law naturally attenuate the signal before it reaches your baby. If $170 is still beyond the budget, a VTech DM111 audio-only monitor runs about $25 and does one thing. It lets you hear the cry. No camera to compromise, no subscription to monetize, no battery-heavy display unit to overheat on the nightstand. Placed across the room, it remains one of the safest monitors money can buy. When evaluating any monitor not covered here, 3 markers separate validated products from marketing fiction. If the device claims to track vital signs, search the FDA's product classification database for the QYU code attached to that specific model. Present means federally cleared. Absent means the manufacturer skipped clinical trials. If the monitor connects to Wi-Fi, look for the SGS cybersecurity mark or equivalent third-party penetration testing certification. If the box says prevents SIDS anywhere on it, put it back on the shelf. No device carries that clearance. None. And regardless of which monitor ends up in your nursery, regardless of brand, price, or transmission technology, every cord and every camera must sit a minimum of 3 feet from the crib. That's the CPSC's mandated safe zone for strangulation prevention. 6 feet is better. 6 feet addresses both the cord hazard and the ambient radiation exposure simultaneously. If nothing else from this video sticks, measure that distance tonight. The baby monitor industry turned parental anxiety into a recurring revenue stream, while cutting corners on the engineering that actually keeps children safe. The corrections aren't complicated. They're just not profitable for the companies selling you the problem. Verify FDA clearance before trusting any biometric reading. Calculate the 5-year cost before committing to any smart monitor. Mount the hardware at maximum functional distance from where your child sleeps. And never assume that a device designed to watch over your baby isn't also the thing introducing new risk into the room. What monitor are you currently running in your nursery? And does anything here change how you think about it? Drop it in the comments. Knowing what's actually in people's homes helps every parent watching this make a sharper decision.